Hey yo. What's up, everyone? It's been such a long time. I don't believe it's been 5 months. That's unreal. Alright. It's been a month, over a month. Christ. Alright, I didn't even set up my project yet. Yikes. Let's first do that, shall we? So we can get rid of these. And then the other one too. But this one will just... Oh my god, it's even so far at the bottom. Can't even believe... Here we go. This window. I really do have to apologize though. Very sorry. I think the one time that I did stream was in the holidays somewhere, but it wasn't this project. It was in fact the advent of code. And the other thing I did during the holidays was this thing here. So I made this repository to build this small event sourcing kata, where you try to implement Magnum Cell, which is a board game, cool board game by the way. Yeah, and since I never done that before, I thought it would be a cool idea to implement a little bit of event sourcing in there. In Kotlin, of course, because it's the best language. Right, I did learn a lot by trying to implement this. So if you want to do it yourselves, I'll put the link in chat, and then you can find out for yourself. Give it a go, and give me some feedback if you want. You know, using issues, etc. All right. See, there's still day 5 where I stopped doing it. So I still need to ground myself a little bit though. There is a pull request. Oh. So maybe we should just do this. This is cool, huh? Yeah, this is normal that it's broken, but the rest is all working. Confirm. There we go. So, right, we have this, maybe it's here. Yeah, okay. Our one car that's been in progress for forever. Where I was keeping track of what to do next. Basically, what we've been doing first was moving all of the find or repository find logic from and that was used in controllers to queries and their query handlers. And we did that for both controllers, so we don't have that big of a domain. And then we were doing commands, so writing all of the command or like the write logic and move that into commands. Apparently we've got some stuff going on here with latest imports that weren't imported yet. And I think, yeah, so that's right. We are split up into 2 different modules. One, the regular old backend, and then we've got the new backend. So this is what it was looking like before. Let's just open up the controller, competition controller. So here's a post where all of the logic only not all of the logic, but most of the logic happen to be in the controller method itself. And if we open up the competition controller in the CQRS backend, you can already see it's in a different package. And it just delegates to executing a new command. And in this case, our create competition thing that we get in is in fact already the command or the holder for the command. That means we also have a create competition handler. And this now contains the logic that used to be in the competition controller itself. And I forget where we actually left off. But yeah, let's find out, shall we? So here's the competition controller. We'll just find the one that's not using commands just yet. And this seems like this is the next one. So complete challenge, and then there's remove challenge. So there's 2 more to go in the competition controller, but we do also have a challenge controller that only has 1. So I guess 3 commands in total. And let's just try and power through them to get this finished. So I did have a hard time convincing myself that this thing is in fact worth it. The reason when I initially started off doing this project, I wanted to solve 2 problems basically. One is an actual problem, just to make sure that we continue doing this fun challenge on the next snow case, which is by the end of March already, so I don't have that much time left. But I mean, it's functional enough to use, in fact. So, and then the other part is that I would be able to prove to myself that I could move from a traditional active record style or architecture style to CQRS, to using CQRS fairly easily. And I think I already proved that to myself that I'm able to do it. But the thing I noticed was that refactoring it to this style is, I mean, it takes about as much time as actually implementing it itself. So it's like double the time if you first make it into active record and then transform it back to CQRS. So it might be worth it to just initially start with CQRS, this kind of architecture, let's say, or design, instead of first doing active record, because it will save you some time, I think. Of course, it's always a trade-off. Like if your team doesn't know the style, then you might run into difficulties. But then again, you also might run into difficulties if your team doesn't know active record, let's say, or like this kind of style. There's all kinds of mistakes to make. And they're easily made, I think more easily made if you don't use CQRS. But that, let's put that aside. The way I usually do this or start doing this is by actually moving all of this stuff into a command and then write tests for that. But usually what we can do, since I already have tests for complete challenge, for example, in our current controller test, I can usually move all of that to a command handler. So let's first find, I already forgot which, so complete challenge. Let's find complete challenge. All right, so this is the first test, I think. Yeah. So let's see, that's a 1, that's 2, that's 3. So we've got 3 tests that test the complete challenge thing. And basically what I want to do now is just verify that a complete challenge command gets executed onto the command executor mock or command executor, and that this thing is filled with the correct things. So if it's not already there yet. So what do we have here? We've got just a competition ID, a challenge ID that we want to complete, and then an ID of the person that completed the challenge. Right, so let's rewrite our test. This return 404 when no challenge was found, we already moved that, I think, to the query. So that's this thing. I don't think we should be testing that anymore, in fact. So, wait, so when no challenge was found, it's a little bit different. So here we did manage to find the competition, but it's a competition without challenges. And if you try to do that, it shouldn't work, should it? But we'll do that when we're handling our command anyway. So this is something that could definitely be moved. The thing I'll try to do instead is should write a new test that says should delegate to the command executor or something like that. What did I call it here? Right, I mean, so it's basically the happy path that we're testing there all the time. Should add challenge given competitors completed challenges. And here's a 400. So basically it's this one that I want as a test name. Let's just call this do or something, or maybe let's call the other one to be removed. -tbr, I don't know. By the way, if any questions, just feel free to ask. Let's make it so that it'll return something. I won't be needing all of that. I'll just need to verify in the end that the command executor, this one, is executed with a new complete challenge command. And this complete challenge command should contain the given competition ID. And now I keep forgetting, I think I need an actual competition ID for this one. So let's get that thing going. All right. Then I'll need a challenge ID. And I don't know if I actually have a challenge ID. I do not. So that should be just the UUID. Where is it? Given challenge ID. This thing. Where is it being set up? Ah, over here. Okay. Okay, and then what I want to add as well is the person that completed it, so the competitor ID. Successful competitor completer ID. Okay. This one. And that's basically it. So we'll execute this thing and then just verify that this is being executed or being passed to the executor. And then we can move all of this. So we already have you know what? The thing that we will be testing here is the fact that a command gets created from the parameters that are being passed to this controller method. So I think I'll need to keep some of this. Maybe even all of it. This I don't need, because that'll be a when. And the rest I might still need. Okay, so this is a new command. So let's add that to the correct spot so we don't have, it should be in domain somewhere. Command, competition, and then we'll have commands. And then as another new data class called complete challenge, which has an ID, which is a competition ID, a challenge ID, which is unfortunately just a UUID, and then a, indeed that one, thank you, and a competitor or completer, I think it was called, completer ID. And this thing. Okay. And then we'll create a type alias for that, so I don't need to import it everywhere. So let's do this one, right? Or this is a type alias, yeah. There we go. So that'll be the handler, and then what I'll need is a handler for that. What is problem? Complete challenge. I didn't tell Kotlin that it's in fact a command that deals with competitions. Now it should compile though. There we go. What's next? Yeah, I mean, this thing will fail, so the next thing I'll do is create the handler for this one. So I think what we've done is, yeah, we'll just put them underneath the competition root. So we'll have a complete challenge handler, or command handler is more specific even. This should also extend from some kind of type, command handler. And then the thing that it should return is a competition. And yes. And the command that it's gonna be handling is this one. And then we can implement some stuff. The command type, the thing that should be returned is this thing. There we go. And then the handle, we need to just move out from the controller and into the handle method. But before we do, let's create a unit test for this one. There we go. And then we'll go back to that controller test and then basically take all of these. So this is everything we'll need for completing challenges, because here's removing challenges. So these are the tests that we need, and we'll need to rewrite them a little bit though. So I think it's called handle. I forget. So the command handler, yeah, handle should return 404 when no challenge was found. And then handle, there we go, should add challenge given competitors. So this to be removed, I mean, can go. All right, and instead of returning 404s, we're just gonna throw exceptions, because we already wrote an exception handler that transforms specific exceptions to HTTP statuses, and then corresponding JSON objects. Let's see, so we can go back here and then we'll remove all of these. All right, and then what we can do is first make sure that this test in fact does work. So that means we can just implement this controller now. This is the correct one, right? Yeah, all right. Right, so the only thing I'll need to do is command executor execute with the new command called a challenge, complete challenge command. And what I'll need is a competition ID from this one. And then I'll need a challenge ID, which we also have. And I'll need a completer ID, which is also there. Alrighty, and then what we used to do was we just return accepted, and that is just fine. That means we can temporarily move this to our command handler. So this handler, here we go. That's basically what we'll need there. So let's put that into comments so it actually compiles. Right, we do need these tests though. Right, so I mean, let's also comment these out just for now, because I really only want to make sure that this thing works. It's still not compiling somehow. Oh. Yeah, I mean, throw or to do to implement. There we go. And then we'll go back to our controller test, which should now still actually work. Oh, we need a test annotation on that. That's right. Let's run it. In fact, I can reduce this quite a lot because it only needs like fixed things, yeah? They don't need to match up correctly. So this should be there. The other thing, like if it still wants to run, in fact. Initial compilation always takes so much longer. Man. All right, green tests. That's what we like to see. Now let's dumb it down a little bit. So this competition ID, it can just remain. Then the given challenge ID, that's just this thing here. Really, what we need is just a random UUID here. Random UUID. There we go. We don't care about this thing anymore. This can also just be a thing, and then I don't even think we'll need this. Okay. Did I? No, I did not. There we go. And then it should still remain working. So the only thing we're really testing here is that the parameters that come from the HTTP request and the body get pushed into this complete challenge command, and then verify that it gets executed. That's it. Cool. And that seems to work, so that's good. Then what we can do is write these tests. So actually transform these tests into working with a command handler instead of HTTP. Yeah, I mean, these errors we don't or we can't expect anymore, because it's this is making sure that it gets translated as well, because we're used to running these on the what's it called again, the HTTP services from Spring. But now we don't need those anymore. We are not testing those along with our unit, so that's no longer part of our unit of work. And for this, I vaguely remember that there's like a thing we already had. So command handler tests and other command handler tests. Yeah, so for adding a competitor, we also need a correct competition ID. We really just did this. All right. I can deal with that. So this, when blah, then return. Then return comp with challenges, and then this is the query command. This is going to become a mock. Let's initialize it as a field. It should be a query executor. No, this one. And then it should be a late init of var, and then we'll add a mock annotation on it, and then we'll make sure that Mockito gets activated. No, we don't use run with here. It's JUnit 5, so we'll need extend with Mockito extension. Yar. All right, and then instead of doing this to make sure that we call our unit under test, we'll need a handler. So let's initialize a complete challenge command handler, which then gets the query executor as a parameter. And then we'll call handle on it with a command of, I think we have this already in our test. It's this thing. All right, and here it is important that we set it up properly. This doesn't take in a query executor yet, and it does now. Okay. All right, so now we've already replaced this mock MVC call with an actual call to the handle method. And I think what I'll do is I'll extract this thing out of there. There we go. And then I should have probably initialized it in the before. How do we do that with the other command handlers? Yeah, before each. So let's move this to the before each. And we'll do that. There we go. All right. Oh, this I don't need anymore. I'll need it to be that type. And that should be that. Then I guess I'll also need a competition repository mock. Let's make sure that this is statically imported. Same for assert that, in fact. There we go. It should be late init var, and it should be a competition repository. And it also needs an mock annotation. All right. So that's that. Then we can just move this to the bottom. Okie dokie. And now let's try and replace these mock MVC perform calls by just calling complete blah handle with a complete challenge command that takes a competition ID of given competition ID, the given challenge ID, and a successful competitor. Okay, so we need this thing, and then let's, yeah, this is done automatically. Okie dokie. So what we'll need to do though is make sure that this expected error gets turned into an assert that thrown by. Exception of type something something. And I don't know which one it is yet, but it is thrown by, and then this is our call. Yeah, I don't know. Let's do a legal argument. I don't know. So this is wrong, but we'll fix it afterwards. It should be a 404 in fact, so maybe we should just take a look at what happened in the handler. Entity not found. Which will get translated into a 404 with this. And that should be the message. So this we can already check as well. Message. Bam. And here we've set it up so that a competitor already finished the given challenge. So I think this setup is all fine. And then we can in fact copy this. Where's the error at? So it's this one. Voila. And the entity not found domain is it's not the correct one. And that's probably because complete challenge throws something instead. Okay, so we can do this. And then what we can do is return this competition repository. In fact, oh, actually, oh yeah, it does need it. So competition repository, we'll need to add. There we go, now we have it over there. I do think we'll need a component on this so that Spring scans it and is able to inject these values. So find competition. Should be a competition ID, which should return a competition, in fact. And we'll do query executor. Oh, these aren't values. Probably why. Find competition with this competition ID. And now what we should do is take the competition ID from the command. Same for here, so command.challenge ID, and here it should be command.completer ID. All right, let's extract this apparently to challenge ID. It was already there, so that I can reuse it in the message. Same for competition ID itself. There we go. Okie dokie. We should return that here. Maybe we should also return it. And then let's go back to the test. Yeah, okay. Even though it's always the same ID, it's important that I externalize that ID because I reuse it quite often in these tests. I mean, in a test setup. So, and then should return 404 will become, should throw entity not found when no challenge was found. And here it should return throw it's not an entity not found, it's something different. It's a domain validation runtime. See, it's weird that I test this here because I already have unit tested this complete challenge in competition test itself. So maybe what I'll do is I'll remove this test because it's already completely tested in a separate unit. So let's get rid of that. I should have actually done that already when I unit tested that complete challenge, in fact. But here, this one we actually do throw from the handler, so it makes sense that I keep on testing it there. Okay. I think that will be that. So if I run it, both tests should actually be green. I hope, huh? Oof. Oof. Must not be null. So there's definitely just an error here. Competition ID is an actual string, but then in the implementation, I think I'm reusing the ID here, but I want the string representation from it. No, actually, I want .id from it. See, that's weird. I should just go to competition ID and have it return. Where is the toString of this thing? I don't have it. So what we'll do is override it. And what it should really do is just return ID as a string. which is already a string, so. Public. Excuse me. Why now though? Why now? What the hell is this thing? Public, no. Ah, no. So that is incorrect because, and why is that? Because I have that thing going on. There's like a plugin that transforms Hibernate entities or adds a public constructor, an empty public constructor at compile time. I hope that it compiles. Where was I? Yeah, in the implementation. I don't need to do this anymore. Since the toString now just returns the internal ID. I hope challenge ID. That's just a UUID. I hope that's fine. But we shall see. Yeah. Okay. So that's green. Cool. And then here must not be null. Oh, so the thing that's being saved must not be null. That makes sense. Why is that? Because I haven't mocked it yet. I don't think that's probably why. I'll go back here. I'll do save and then a competition. Or maybe it's the thing that I'm returning here that needs to be not null. Okay, let's also when competition repository mock dot save. So I think what I did in previously was then return compet challenges. And here we'll do just any competition. There we go. Took a while to compile, huh? Jesus. Yeah, okay. So let's go back and then see for the other command handler tests that we wrote what the consistency there was, because I usually return stuff. Yeah, we captured, and then so instead of the verify, we just captured, and then we've tested. I know. We captured, but we didn't do anything with it. That's also weird. Now I'm very confused. Let's go to another test. Remove competitor. Here again, we just capture it and then don't do anything with it. Here we do use the captor and then its value to verify stuff on it. So I think that makes more sense to me, in fact. By the way, now there's nobody else to blame but myself, which is fun. What do we do here though? We do verify that the completed challenges of Snarf here, the Snarf competitor that is then, I guess, has the Picasso's challenge as a thing. Yeah, okay. So I guess this is fine as well. So the thing I'm not testing right now is that the correct competition with the entire completed graph is in fact the thing that's being saved. So I could break this test, but I mean, I'm not gonna. Okay, so that's that, I think. Then there's also some scenario tests that should also work. Now, I think I remember that I run these by spinning up a Docker container for my Postgres database. And I haven't started that one yet, so these should fail, I think. It's been only a month and I already forgot everything. My god. Nope, they just work, okay. Then I don't remember how I set these up. Or maybe in fact just Docker is running. That could also be a thing. Nope, then I don't know, I don't care. It's green, so yeah. Let's check it out. So here we worked on moved competition controller dot complete challenge to command. Voila. All right, so after this, just one more competition controller. Ooh, you what, mate? There's let's cancel, because I first want to pull then. Oh right, I just did a pull request. I mean merge the pull request. All right. Okay, so next up in the competition controller is remove challenge. Remove challenge. I don't even remember that being a thing, in fact. Oh. It's so the thing that is it's weird that it's here and not like where you're adding challenges. So maybe I should just put it there. Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, we'll just do the same approach again. And that is being, if we go back to competition controller tests, we'll check out where remove challenge is at. So I think we only have one single test for this. Complete challenge, add competitor, add challenges. So Let's also move it just like we have done with the regular method. So after add challenges, and then I forget where remove competitors is coming from, because I don't think it's the last thing. No. So complete challenge is the last thing here. That means, yeah, you know what? Let's put all of the challenge stuff together. Like this. Okay, cool. Aight. And then so it was remove challenge. So this thing should be moved to a handler for a new command that says verify command executor mock execute remove challenge with what? Well, with the given competition ID, which is going to be wrapped into a competition ID class and a given challenge ID. And that's about it, I think. What is problem? Oh, Tor mock. This thing doesn't exist just yet, so let's create it somewhere in the commands. So we'll have remove challenge, single challenge apparently, which is just a challenge ID, which is a UUID. And then we'll also add a type alias for that, so that we don't have to import it everywhere like import. There we go. So this will fail because the implementation is completely differently. This when we don't need to do anymore, in fact, so let's get rid of that. I think that should make this unused as well. No? Ah, okay. So there's only one place where it's being used now, and that's in the get. So we can just inline this and remove the function. Cool. And then let's go to the commands. The remove challenge thing. Then we will add a new command handler. The remove challenge command handler, which is a command handler, and it should be returning a competition, and it should be dealing with remove challenge commands, and then it needs some implementation. This thing we can just return already. Needs to be a component, and we'll create a new test for this. And this is the test that we wanted from our controller, at least. So then what we'll do is we'll what was my plan again? Yeah, I need a setup function that initializes a remove challenge command handler. Let's call it handler. This will make into a property. Yep. And then we'll just use that instead of this HTTP call. So we'll do handler.handle with a remove challenge command that takes in a competition ID. So we'll need to wrap this given competition ID. And then the challenge ID. And there we go. This will need to import. This assertion we can import as well. I think we are missing a test here as well. Oh yeah, and then this thing we also need to create, I guess. Let's use this thing instead. Okay. And then we'll need another private late init var query executor, which is a query executor. Yo, no, not that one. Another one, my own one. That's right. Let's do the @mock annotation. That means we'll need to extend with Mockito extension. There we go. So there's that, and then we can wrap on this. In fact, let's call it competition ID. Let's move it up a little bit. And then use it there. Okie dokie. And here what we'll do is we'll do when. So Mockito is a when. Query executor. Execute the find competition query using given competition ID, then return some competition. There we go. Right. And this should in fact work. The thing I didn't do yet is clean up my controller test. Where is it? Complete remove challenge. So I definitely need less setup. I just need to verify that the correct IDs are being passed. So in fact that the correct command is being created when you enter this HTTP controller. So I really only need this one and this one. So that means that this one can just be a random UUID. And all of this can go. Yay! So then this will fail. Because I'm not calling a command executor yet. All right. Okay, so the only thing I need to do now is just go like command executor, execute, remove challenge command using a competition ID from given, from competition ID and the challenge ID. There we go. And now, if I'm corrected, there's only one usage for this thing as well. Okay, and I can inline this too. Voila. So if I rerun my controller tests now, it should work. Yay. Then let's go back to our remove challenge command handler, which I think is going to be failing now. And then actually, we also need to rename this because it's no longer this API call. No. We'll need a handle. Should remove the given challenge ID. And here what we also should do is whenever the challenge ID that you passed along was not found, it should throw an entity not found. And we'll steal that from our previous complete challenger command handler test. So it's this one. That means we'll be able to import this. Here I use the competition ID. I guess we'd never used a string here, so let's do it like this. This is why we use a string apparently. All right, I need this as the given competition ID, and then I can get rid of this. Don't need this thing here, and instead I want remove challenge. There we go, and it should return the same thing. This not used. This not used. No. Let's run it. What now? Okay. We do have that thing there. Oh sheesh, y'all. I forgot to copy the previous implementation. I think. Yeah, I did. Oh, that's not good. The other thing that's weird here is that I need my query executor here. And the other thing I'll need is a mock for the competition repository so I can actually save it. Okay. And then we'll add parameters, both of them, please. There we go. See, and in that sense, it's kind of weird that we're using the query handler or the query executor to find a competition when I already have the competition repository there. But I guess that's just some decision I made. Right, so here it's a maybe. Okay. So the first thing I'll need to do here is query executor. Oi. Needs vals. Query executor. Execute. Find competition using the commands ID. Let's also assign challenge ID. So when we found this thing, what I need to do is I'll need to competition dot remove. Oh, I already have a remove challenge. Maybe this is where that thing comes from. So let's see if I go here. Yeah, here we go. This is why I didn't, why there wasn't a test for that. So this can go. It's nice. And I only need a little implementation there. Cool. Return repository. Save competition. Nice. Then there's no use for me doing this, I guess. I can just inline it. And same for this one. And that should be that. Let's find out if our previous competition controller, you know what? Let's go back to the competition controller from the CQRS thing and then show history. Oh, you know what? Let's do local changes. Complete. No, it needs to be the remove challenge. Yeah. So you find a competition, you call remove challenge on it, and you save it, and there you go. Right, and then that's it. And the reason why I'm setting it up like it's supposed to work is because I want to use actual objects. Is problem? Yeah, same thing like we're used to. So what I'll need is a when our competition repository dot save is being called with any competition class, then return some competition. Problem? Let's go back to the other test. Where is it? Might have been this one. Oh, right. It was Mojito's argument matcher that I needed there, and not Hamcrest. Then some competition. Okay. So we're really doing this just to make it work, and then what I'll need at the bottom is a verify that competition repository. Import. save was called with some competition. Yay! Now let's run all of the tests again. Oops. All right. Okay, so we moved competition control, remove challenge to a remove challenge command. That's it. And then I think we'll have the last one on our hands. Push it. And the last one will be in the challenge controller, in fact, because there's just a single one. It's called update challenge, and here we'll need to do this bit. So I'm wondering, in our find competition handler, here we do throw this, so I think it's going to make sense to also do the same here, because if you want to fetch a challenge with its ID, I mean, you should always return it. So this should move to the query handler, and I think that's the thing we'll do first. But you know what? Let's in fact first tick some boxes, yo. Holy moly. Wait. Right. Man, it's a good thing I write things down. Oh no. Do I want to do that? Maybe I don't want to do that. Oh my god, really? Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. And the modules part is also quite important, so it's not actually fully completed if I did that. Dang it. Oh, here I did fix a little bug as well. Is there other stuff? I do not think so. Okay. Let's just continue with the refactoring a bit, and then we shall be good to go. So let's move this thing into the find challenge query handler, shall we? And then let's open this query handler. Let's open its test. Then no, or entity not found is thrown. So instead of doing this, we expect assert exception. Oops, exception of type. This thing, entity not found, domain runtime is thrown. And it should have message or something. Message challenge with ID something something not found. Okay. And then not null, that's not a thing. Okay. Oh yeah. And this should fail, in fact. And what we can then do is implement it. Yeah. So interface changes here, and we'll do this. Let's run it. There we go. Then I think I have broken something here, because this no longer returns optionals. How come it's so working actually? Oh, I know why. There we go. Wait, that's kind of weird, isn't it? How is it that this handler is compiling? This is weird. It should not be compiling, in fact. The moment I did this, I should have done that to make it compile. I know why that is. That's because of that filthy star thing, right? Yeah, so this isn't typed. And it should be an any, I think, and then it should work. I will not bother. So that doesn't work. And this can go. There we go. Right. Then that's that. Then let's first verify that everything is in fact still working, because now I'm not sure what my scenario tests are going to react like. They might even just not compile. But by the way, the plan is to stop at like 4-ish, and I can get ready to go slalom skating. Challenge controller test is failing. Should return no. Well, yeah, it will, but it will, but it's now encapsulated in throwing the error, which is fine. So we can just remove that, which is really cool. Yay! So here we refactored the find challenge query to throw exception when challenge not found. Let's push that as well. And then let's go back to the challenge controller, this thing here. And then let's make sure that this gets transformed into a command, shall we? Right. So the way I usually do it again, I'll need I don't have challenge commands just yet. So challenge, update challenge. Oh wait, no, we've got the challenge commands. So let's do challenge.challenge commands.kt. Yeah, bastard. Package. And then we'll make it look like this. But these should be challenge commands. And the command that I need is a update challenge command, and then it has a variety of stuffs, or specifically name, points, and description. Name, points, and description. Name, points, description. I guess this is a string. I hope this is not just an optional thing. This should in fact also contain a val of ID, which is a UUID, which happens to be the challenge ID. Not on a competition, but on a challenge in fact. And then we'll create a type alias. There we go. I'm not sure if this is not an optional thing. Neither is this, and neither is that. Points is an int. There we go. Okie dokie. And with that, I will be able to remove this if I use the find challenge query as well. So let's return this in fact. Yeah, I don't want this in there, so I'll do this. Get rid of that. And then I can extract just that. You know, let's first create a command, in fact. Update challenge, which is a command which deals with challenges. Where are the challenge commands? How come this thing already exists? Oh, okay. Update challenge. I think what I'll need to do is remove this. Maybe here it's still called command. I am very confused. This should work though. Like, where is the other one then? Oh. This should be the command handler. That's why. Command handler. Dealing with challenges. And dealing with update challenge. There we go. Return update challenge. This needs to be implemented at some point. I still have something in my paste buffer, but I don't know what anymore. So I think it's the implementation. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's not lose that. Then go to the test. Then let's do a setup. And what we'll need is a handler. So the handler equals an update challenge command handler. And it's going to require a query executor and then a challenge repository. I'll need a property. Yeah. This is this thing late init var. It's a query executor. Wrong. It's this one. And then this thing as well. Repository. Yeah. Yeah. And then mock. All right. Then I'll need extends with Mockito. And then let's add parameters. And then let's make them into files. Okay, and then we can start creating tests, which in fact I can copy from the controller. Something like that. Let's go to the controller. Let's go to its tests. Let's find the put thing. This no longer is a thing because I've moved it to the not the repository, the query handler. Should update the given challenge. Oh, that's the thing we want here. All right, and then let's import assert that. Mock MVC we no longer need. What I want to do is this thing. also interesting. I guess what we did here was, yeah, I'll need a challenge captor then. Captor. Which is a argument captor of a challenge. Okay. So this will no longer be the repository that we'll be looking, but the query executor. I'm missing something. Yeah, this stuff is the thing I want to call when I do handle update. Ah, dang it. I can't. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll do old challenge.id, then old challenge dot no. So here we update Picasso. Then I also want to update points, which is, I don't know, like 7 or something. And then a new description, something. And then here I can go like this, 7. And here it should be something. Which I only discovered that should definitely be replaced with snarf. This I don't need anymore. Give an ID. All right. And this I need to replace that with a find query thing. What the hell is this assert that one thing? I don't know how to do that. Oh. I'll need to do some optimized imports before I push. Okie dokie. This should be it. Let's give it some different things as well, like points 3. Lion-O is the best O. Something like that. I don't know. There, and then we'll have changed everything except the ID, of course. So this should be okay. Then if I try to run it, it should not work, in fact, because there's a to-do thing that'll get a hit. Oh, I also need to change this into using the query executor. So when query executor execute find challenge using this challenge ID, then return, and not an optional anymore, but let's call this existing challenge. Let's verify that the ID should remain the same, and then the rest is different. Okay, then I guess what we can already do is do this. This I no longer need. This is going to be completely different. So here I will do a query executor find execute find a challenge using command dot yeah, ID. Let's maybe rename that to challenge ID. It Come on, IntelliJ, you got this, please. Come on, I believe in you. I stopped believing in you, IntelliJ. You bastard. And then here I don't even use it anymore. Alright. Okay, so all of this should become command. And then it'll have name, points, and description. That's great. Then there's no longer a nothing being returned, so that'll be it, right? Yeah, that's it. We can return. Another thing to write this is maybe a little bit different, so let's do found challenge and then save, and then should be found challenge, not copy. There we go. That should be a little bit easier to read. Still needs component. Then that'll remove these squiggly lines. Yes. They can both be private and privat. Yeah. Huppakee. I forgot to do that, in fact, with all of the other command handlers that we just wrote. So. Okay, I will forget if I don't do it now, so let's do it now. This does have privates. This does not, so let's make it gippen. Okay. Does it have it as well? Then does not have it. Okay. Here we are again back into the update challenge command handler where we've just implemented this. We did write a test already. This should run now. I did not mock the call for saving, so when I do when challenge repository dot save any, and then I want mojitos any with a class, any challenge then return existing challenge or something, I don't know. Doesn't really matter all that much. Because we verify that the thing is saved, and then that's the most important thing to check. Voila. Then if we go back to the controller test, I just realized we did it the other way around this time. So this when thing is not gonna happen. The thing that I want to verify though is that the command executor, which is not on the list yet. This I still want though. So update challenge captor. And this is no longer a challenge, but an update challenge command. I don't want this one, but I do want a command executor mock, which is a command executor. Execute. Update challenge command. Right, so old challenge. That's silly. Given ID. Let's call it like this. Perform put. And then I want this verified. Huh? And here, by doing that, we can check. You know what? This is silly to do it like that. Huh? Why do I want to capture it like that when my commands are data classes? So I can just say I want an update challenge command that has given ID in the name of Pablo, and then you know what, let's pass along all of these things. There we go. And that should be that. Then I don't need a captor anymore. And my test becomes smaller. Oh, I haven't changed the implementation yet, so that makes sense that it fails. And now what I can do is get rid of this one because I no longer need the repository. I need a command executor though. Command executor, execute, update challenge. Oh my god. I'm the dumbest. All right, I think this is it. Yes. 400 Ermigerd. That's because it's no longer a challenge, I guess. And then might slightly, yeah, it's slightly different. Oh no, it's slightly different. Why is that? Because the command is called challenge ID, and a challenge has just ID. So you know what? Guess I'll revert that rename. And that should be that. So this is very strange. It'll work even though I am passing in a challenge, but so that's the idea for now. And then what I can do, yeah, bastard. Oh, this is why. That's silly. Nearly there. Yay. Then let's change this with this thing. The challenge. And that's it. So now I don't need to worry about my UI being broken either, because the update challenge JSON object adheres to a challenge object, JSON object. And even though it's a different Kotlin type, it's significantly different for me to use this here instead of an actual challenge object, because then I can use just this command to work that way. The thing I don't really like though is the fact that this contains an ID, whereas this already has an ID. So it's a bit weird in it. Because if this ID is different from this one, then, you know. Okay. Let's find out if all of the tests are working still. Sweet. This is the last one. So moved challenge controller update challenge to use a update or unupdate challenge command. Nice. Then we'll push this, and then I'll do a package-wide optimize import. And same for production code. And then we'll find out what we changed. Run the tests and on green commit. Okay. Let's run all the tests again. You can never be too safe, right? You know, the thing I didn't check is if there are in fact scenario tests for updating challenges, because I don't think there are in fact. But we'll have to do that next time because my time is up for the day. Yeah. At least it's green. Package wide optimize imports. Kom op, jongen. Let's go. All right, cool. Let's stick some boxes again, and then
Okay.
Yo, look at this. I forget what this thing was. Finer throw duplication and competition command handlers. Why is that? C comment. Which comment is that? This comment. Ah, we fixed this already by just putting that in the find competition thing. So that's done, boys. Clean up REST API exposed interface usage from core domain objects. Ah, okay, so that's gonna be a little bit more annoying, I think, because what that basically says is all of your core. Oh, so from the actual things here, so all of these objects in core should not have REST API exposed. That is in fact impossible to do before I can actually, because I think I'm returning, yeah, see, I'm returning these core objects here. So, okay, that's not something that we'll do today. Command execution as a blank. Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore, in fact. Maybe we'll just cancel, edit this thing, and then strike through. think it works like that. Yeah. And that's about it. All right. Thanks again for watching. I'm glad I finally did this thing. It took me so long. But anyway, now we've gone through it, we can focus on other things again. Nice. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time. Oh, by the way, I got into the Darklang beta and I couldn't be happier. So next week, Thursday, there's a software sandbox happening, and I think I will be trying it out then, just like playing around with it a little bit. I will definitely stream, but I don't think I will be streaming me, you know, like me playing around with it, like learning or reading. It's going to be a lot of reading, so I think it's going to be boring content, so I'll save you that. But when I'll be building something with it, I will definitely stream that. So yeah, we should look out for that. Right. Until then, see you around. Peace.